Ask me.
No fucking way.
Yeah.
So I've watched your videos like a million times.
Oh, yeah.
That's so cool.
What's up, dudes? Chooch out here on the inmotion V12 high torque. Gonna give y'all a little urban ride where I'm really ripping around, guys. After I've gotten used to this high torque wheel a lot, you'll be able to see a huge progression in the time where when I first got this wheel and then to now, which has been about 3 weeks. And this is what I'm talking about. This is why, like, with companies that send a wheel and they want me to review it and everything within like a week or 2 week time frame, you simply can't do it, guys. And the people that do it, they're not putting the wheel through the paces like I'm doing. You can see this thing, like, dude, there's no way you can adapt to a wheel within like a week or a few days like this. You really got to put time into it and learn the characteristics of it. And I've learned the characteristics of this high torque wheel, and you can just absolutely rip around an urban thoroughfare on this thing. I mean, you can just rip around because your acceleration from like 0 to like 13 or 14 miles an hour is just ridiculous. And the power, the instant power you have on this, I mean, you are literally the snappiest, most responsive machine on the roadway anywhere around. And your 0 to 14, or like in that range right there, 0 to 14 miles an hour is absolutely the fastest of pretty much any machine out there, because of how small the diameter of the wheel is, being 16 inches, and then just packed with such a powerful motor, guys. This thing is a 2800 watt motor. I'm pretty sure, yeah, 2800 watt motor on the high torque one. And that is, I mean, you combine a 2800 watt motor with the small diameter of a 16-inch wheel, and you have it's set for a high torque, the windings in it set to be high torque, and you get this, and it is just a instant, I mean, just insanely snappy wheel. And it doesn't have the high speed, guys, but you can see, I mean, I'm riding fast around through the sidewalks right here, around all around through the city where most people are going to be riding at. Now, the place where this kind of suffers at is just top end on the roadway. You can hit the top speed of 38 miles an hour so quick on this thing, guys. It's kind of deceiving. So you want to be careful with that. It is fun though. I mean, that torque on this wheel is just so, I mean, it is ridiculous, bro. It is absolutely crazy that they can, like, I mean, after riding like a moped or a dirt bike or anything like that, and then you get on this and you have that instant electric motor torque, and you can just, once you get the hang of it and you can dart around like this, man, it is just awesome. It's so much fun. It never gets old. It never gets old, man. I don't know how else to put it, but it really doesn't. And I don't ride around much, guys. This is why you see me usually riding in the mountains and on trails and stuff like this, because riding like this, I understand there's gonna be some people in the comments say, oh man, you know, why are you riding that fast on the sidewalks? Why are you riding that fast? And I get it, dude. This is why I don't do it much, is because I understand that riding like this is not like sustainable. So that's why I usually ride on the trails. I usually ride in the mountains. I usually ride away from people and away from cars, is because you don't get lucky like I do in this video all the time. You could be a really good rider. You can look both ways at every intersection 15 times. You can really try to be as keen as possible. But man, there's just so many people distracted. You make one mistake, one thing goes wrong, and you got 2-ton vehicles around you. You got other people, bikes, all that stuff. So that's why I know not a lot of people can do it, and I know a lot of people get these things to commute and all that stuff. So there's a way you can still have fun on it and commute, guys, without darting around on it full speed like this. This is just after 7.5, almost 8 years of riding, guys, where I really feel comfortable around other people and everything like that. And like literally, guys, I really, know my limits with it, and it may look like it's being just absolutely ruthless on it, and I think the same thing. If I saw somebody after riding one of these like 1 or 2 times and I saw somebody riding it like this, I'd be like, what the hell is he doing? I'd be like, what is he doing? But 100%, guys, I'm being in control of it. The wide angle lens makes it look like I'm coming a little bit closer to people on the sidewalks, but I'm going as far as I can to the right, and I'm leaving a lot of space there for people. I'm looking for cars, and that's another thing that I really see in a lot of other videos that I want riders to quit doing completely. If I can say something about it, guys, you're responsible 100% for this machine. 100% for it. And if a car comes out and pulls out or whatever, you cannot expect them to see you. I don't care if you're coming down the sidewalk, I don't care if you're in the bike lane, you literally have to ride this thing 100% defensively. I mean, like 100%. They're not 99% defensively, 100% defensively, guys. And if someone cuts you off, if something goes wrong, dude, it's not their fault. They aren't used to these things. They're not used to seeing them around. They aren't used to how fast they can accelerate. So whenever I see, like, I'm not even going to name the riders, but I see the riders, they kind of give like a little attitude whenever a car kind of pulls out or whatever, they stick their finger out or whatever it may be. Dude, if you were driving that car, you'd probably do the same exact thing. You'd probably pull out a little bit too much. Like, granted, now that I ride the unicycle, I look, 10 times more for bikes, all that type of stuff. But man, if a car edges out in front of you or whatever it is your job 100% to avoid them. It is your job. And like, for instance, right here, that is the safest line right there. Most people would argue, dude, you're on the other side of the road. Why are you going into traffic? That right there, over time, after riding in very varied situations, that right there was the safest line. And it takes a lot of times to learn something like that and do that specific line, because you wouldn't do that on a moped, a skateboard, a bicycle, a dirt bike. It's specific to this. So it's little things like that you have to learn over time that really make it smooth to get around. So the model I'm on right here, if you're looking to purchase this, it's called the V12 High Torque. This is the inmotion V12 HT. If you go to the website, it's linked below. Now, if you want to purchase this wheel, it's the top link in the description. You click that and it takes you to the website to buy this wheel. Also, if you see the other links under there to the other websites, those are also affiliate links. It helps me out if you buy it or pre-order this unicycle. That's what it is a pre-order right now through any of those links, and it's greatly appreciated. But this thing is $2,499 for the model I'm on in this video, which is the high torque one with the upgraded rim, and top speed on it is about 38 miles an hour. Not a really high top speed like I said before, but your low end speed, cruising around town, doing a lot of unique things with this wheel. You're just blast off type acceleration, just being ruthless, just having fun. And look at this guy. Look at this guy. We got some good old boys in Colorado. Look at that. This dude in the middle of the Kmart parking lot driving the 4Runner through the swamp. Oh man. Okay, it's good to see. It's good to see other idiots out and about. But anyways, dudes, I mean, you see this right here. I love this little inmotion wheel, man. I really do. It rips so. I mean, I do wish I had suspension in it. I really wish it had a little bit of suspension to it, just a little bit at least. But it's really not a deal breaker, guys. You see that I'm bending the knees a lot. I got my tire pressure at about 25 psi, and it's not a deal breaker. It seriously is not a deal breaker to not have suspension on this wheel. It's so much fun for the price point, I think. And I do 100%. I'm loving this little high torque wheel. And I know I was liking the S20. I like a lot of the wheels I get, guys. I gotta say, and it's just because I really like riding. But this one for the city and getting around, like, you know, even the suburbs and whatnot, dude. Like little footpaths, little connector trails, parking lots, bike paths, sidewalks, all of that type of stuff that most America is made up of is what this thing shines on, especially the high torque ones. So do what you will with that. 1750 watt hours, guys. Riding it like this, you can still get like 45 miles of range out of it, I'd say. If you're taking it easy on it, dude, if you're just cruising like 22 to 25 miles an hour, you could probably get like 50 miles of range out of this, like on flat ground. It has a full LCD display on it. The atmospheric lighting on this thing is like the best out of any wheel. I love how you can change the color patterns on the side of it. It's got a kickstand on it. The foot plates on it have like a tensioning screw, so you can tension the bottom up so that they don't just flop around like some of the Gotway wheels or whatever. There's a lot of little refinements you see right there where I lean too far forward. And a lot of people ask, well, what happens when you hit a pothole? That was kind of a scenario right there you saw, where I kind of got thrown off kilter a little bit. I came across the road, that little lip in the road right there, those kind of form from heavy trucks going down roads over and over and over again. So you kind of get that lip of concrete right there on the edge of the road. And that right there, when your legs extend, that's the importance of having bent knees right there. So if my knees weren't bent and I would hit that with full stiff legs, I would have fallen, guys. So even when you're accelerating, you see, even when I'm accelerating, I'm not with fully straight stiff legs. I still have a little bend in there. And that little bend is what saved me from that anomaly in the road. And that's why you can have suspension. And that's why I've said before, if you do get a suspension wheel as your first wheel, then it kind of robs you of the skills that you would develop in place of having that. The suspension kind of messes with you, guys, because if you start riding a wheel that doesn't have suspension, you'll get way better way faster, and then you'll develop a lot of the necessary skills that you still need on the suspension wheel more heavily. And then when you get on the suspension wheel, it'll just feel way more natural. Because if this thing did have suspension, I probably wouldn't bend my knees as much. And if this was my first experience ever on one of these, and I got used to that over time, and then I switched to one that did have suspension, I would be like, dude, there's no way I can ride this thing. It doesn't feel right. And then it would literally just kind of be rider error, you could say, because if you bend your knees and you kind of float with a wheel that doesn't have suspension, it rides great in its own unique way. It really does. And it's also shaving a huge amount of money off of the overall price you're paying for a wheel. I mean, because the non-suspension wheels are just a lot less than the suspension wheels. And I've literally put more miles on this one than I did on the S20, and probably the same amount of time. And I put a lot of miles on the S20, but I just tend to rack them up on these little V12s, man. I love them. I love these little damn things. They're great. But anyways, I got the high speed version and the high torque version, and I've been going to the high torque version 9 times out of 10 over the high speed version, and this is the main wheel I've been riding recently. So, and I have the EUC side pads on here. If y'all are wondering what the white pads are on the side right there, these I switched the Clark pads out, put these on here, and I don't know, dude. I feel like I really started riding way better. I don't know, and I'm not saying that like Chris Clark hooks it up like big time and hooks it up with the pedals, everything, etc., and I super appreciate it. But I don't know, dude. I put these on there, and I'm not gonna lie to y'all. I literally am not gonna lie to y'all. I put these side pad governor XLs on here, and I just noticed, man, like just more rigidity because it's not 2 sections. The 3D Extreme pads being 2 sections, it kind of had a little bit of give in it. These, you Velcro them on the side, and it's just, and it would be the same thing with a single piece Clark pad. But the thing is, on the side right here, just having one solid piece with that Velcro on the back, where that whole entire piece can stick down solid, because that's what you use as Velcro to mount it. It really gets pushed in tight with these side pads, and I mean, it feels great. It really does, man. It feels like you can just wrench on these things without them giving. So anyways, I'm about to do a little bit more riding here. Stay tuned to the end, because you see where I almost had a major malfunction on the inmotion V12. I hit a little jump or curb at the end right here, and I was thinking it was going to go down, guys. Like, in my head, I fully thought the thing would fail. And if y'all needed any type of proof that the motherboard in this thing is fine, wait until you see me jump this curb coming up in a minute. And I literally jumped the curb, hit maximum speed in the air, overpower the wheel tilting forward, and then seesaw it back full send with all my weight, and it stayed up, and I rode away from it fine and didn't crash. But check that out. It's coming up in a minute. I'm gonna shut up, get out of here. It's been Chooch. If y'all enjoyed the video, throw it a thumbs up, and I will see you dudes in the next one.